HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. Let's learn about the language. In computer, there are many languages, and some of them, for example, PHP, .NET, Java, and to name few, these are just an examples. There are many more. With the help of these languages, we talk to computer. We tell computer that this kind of output we want to display, or this kind of program we want to run, or these functionality we want computer to produce. So let's learn about basics of HTML. Guys, what is HTML? It is a language describing web pages, mainly used to design web pages. And this language is set of markup tags. It describes document contents, and we kind of, in HTML language, use tags to define the areas for the display. We will be learning more about that in the coming pages. So let's talk about the tags. We usually put tags inside the brackets. So HTML tags are the keywords surrounded by angled brackets. So that's how we start the page. HTML with an angled bracket, it means computer will know that this is HTML language. And then we will be using pairs that where bold, for example, bold will start and where the bold text will stop. This is just an example like how, so we will be putting B there in an angle bracket and with the hashtag B there with the angle bracket. So we will see that text will go black. The first tag in a pair is the start tag. So that is the starting tag. And the second tag is the end tag. So this is the ending tag. The end tag is written like the start tag, but only the difference is the forward slash before the tag name. Start and end tags are also called opening tags and closing tags. HTML tags and elements are often used to describe the same thing. For example, P is for paragraph, and closed P that the paragraph is ending there. So that's how we will be using HTML elements, or say tags. The purpose of web browser, like for example Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, is to read HTML documents and display them as web pages. So the language, HTML language we will be using for computer is mainly the browsers, like web browsers will use that language to display the content as we want. The browser does not display the HTML tags, but it uses the tags to show the content on the page as we want it. So it presents them and displays them to the user. So that's quite interesting how the web browsers works. Look at the page structure. So HTML is the first tag where we're telling to the web browser that this is a HTML based web page, and we will be using body to declare that this portion will have a display tags. Above this portion there will be tags, those will be hidden or talking to browser on the hidden level. They will not be displayed, but within the body, anything we're writing, most of them, like in most of the cases except some chances where we want those texts not to display, so the tags will display the heading, the paragraph, and the end of the paragraph, and so on. So let's go further and explore it more. So since 1991, there are various versions of HTML, just like anything else, like iPhones or the cars. So the languages also have their versions. They improve tags, they improve their functionalities, so the browsers can have more compatibilities. So in every version, there is a huge change every time, and sometimes could be a minor change. So it's all depends. So right now, HTML5, XHTML5 is introduced in 2013. That supports the latest functionalities, and the faster loading of the browser, the pages and stuff like that. There are a lot of reasons why we're going to use the latest and what are the differences. We will be exploring them. So HTML can be edited by using professional HTML editor like Adobe Dreamweaver, Microsoft, Coffee Cup HTML editor, Notepad. These are only to name the few. There are many more editors for Mac computers, for Linux, and for Windows. Sublime, to name more of them, like Sublime is one of my favorite, and obviously Dreamweaver is quite used on a large scale in the industry. So let's go further and explore the examples. HTML headings are defined with H1 to H6. Just like in MS Office, we select the bigger heading, the smaller, and so on. So this tag here, if you see the text is on this, it is written same, but when the browser will be, for example, Chrome or Internet Explorer, when it will be processing our HTML file, it will show that it will display the text bigger, smaller, and smaller than that, and it will process and display accordingly. So HTML paragraphs are defined with p tag, as we discussed before. This is a paragraph and another paragraph, and so on. So there will be in the codes, we might write paragraphs next to each other, but when the browser will be processing it, it will display with the gap. So just like we do when we write in MS Office, Word, Excel, or any other place. HTML links are displayed with a tag, which is like, if we click on this is a link, like if there is a text, and if I click on that will take me somewhere. So we can do that. We can write here, click on the car, click on submit, so anything we click on, and we can define, we can say click here to go to Google for Google search. So if we say google.com and click to go to the Google page, users will only see that text. They will not see the link behind it, but when they read and click it, they will go to that. But in the back end, we will be writing the tag for the browser like that, which will not be displayed to the user. Only this text, the tag, the text inside this will be displayed. HTML images. We can also add images to HTML page with img tag. So for example, img source, from where the photo is coming. So we will, if there is a photo from the website, we will write the web page and the exact address URL of the image. So that image will be sourced to the page where we will be processing this code, and then we can define the width and the height of the image. If we want bigger or smaller, we can change the numbers accordingly. HTML documents, as we discussed, are defined by the elements. Start tag, this is a paragraph. End tag, so this is a link, how we can link the text, and BR is for break. So if you want a one space, like one extra enter or one extra space between the lines, we can use BR. Usually we can use the end tag of BR for the forward slash. So the example of the HTML web page, the content, the file, HTML file, we will be having a doc type HTML declaration to the browser, then HTML starting, that's from where the page is starting, the body, and so on. Let's go to the next page. HTML elements with no contents are called empty elements. So BR, for example, is an empty without closing tag, because it just breaks a line, so we don't really need to close it. So we just tell into the browser that please leave extra space between the lines. There are attributes provided additional information about HTML elements. For example, we were using width and height, so there is like additional information about everything, common names or values. So we can write pairs like what's the name you want to display, or what's the height you want to do, what colors you want to change text into, and so on. So there are plenty of attributes we can learn about. HTML headings, again, are defined from H1 to H6 tags. So we will be trying this in the example. HR tags are usually we want to display the horizontal line on the page. So for example, this is a paragraph HR, and there will be a line. This is a paragraph HR, and there is a line. So we will be doing the stuff like that. Comments can be inserted into the HTML code to make it more readable. So for example, if you've done something which is in a team, and your team will be continuing from where you left, or you're working together, and so you really need some time to explain to your team member that why you having that kind of tag there, why you're writing those codes. So sometimes for yourself, you can say from this place, there is a form starting, or there is a contact us page starting. So you remember that, okay, this kind of particular tag is for certain functionality or a certain portion of the page. Paragraphs are defined with the p tag. Then this is another example. We have already discussed about BR. HTML uses tags like BI is for formatting output, like bold or italic. So B emphasized italic, smaller tags, stronger tags. So all we need to do is use the HTML tags, because that's how browser will understand what we want to display. So hyperlinks, a tag we already looked into. There are attributes we can use in that, like unvisited links or visited links if you want to turn blue, purple, red. So attributes like width and height we've seen. can be added into the hyperlinks as well. So head element is container of head elements. For example, inside head, we can have programming before the body starts. So we can have instruct the browser where the style sheets are, or where additional coding is, where additional links are. If our HTML page is sourcing some kind of codes from another pages, or some kind of programming scripts or another HTML script from another page, in the head we will be displaying that. The title tag that defines the title of the document. So we're just defining what the title will be displayed on the browser toolbar. For example, when you go to the website, it usually says the Apple, Samsung, stuff like that. So the title is written inside the title tag. Then the web page, the browser is picking that up and displaying it there. And it also helps the page to display in the search engines like Google or Bing, and used for clients to find the particular website. Now, HTML style element. So style, what we were talking about style element is usually we have another file, but sometimes you can write within the head the style, which is showing like the standard pattern throughout the page. For example, the whole body we want like that. The whole page body, the whole page background should be yellow. All the P paragraph text should be blue. So the style shade is usually applied for the standardization. So you don't really need to write the attributes inside the body, inside the paragraphs. You don't need to write for every single P tag separately about the colors, because you are defining the style within the head. So which is pretty good. The CSS are very highly used together with HTML4 or the latest. CSS can be added to HTML, like inline tag or internal style sheets. External, for example, the one we just saw. So this is an inline tag. Or we also can define external CSS file, which is a standard practice. So in HTML, images are defined with IMG. So sometimes you can take, as I said in the previous slides, that URL, the image can be outsourced, sourced from the outer, or not from the website, but from any other links or any other URL. So not only the website we're designing, but sometimes you can also import them. And ALT is used for the alternate name. When the user will be taking their mouse onto the image, this text will be displayed. For example, you source the image of an aircraft, so you can write the alternate text aircraft. So for the end user, that name will be displayed when they will move their cursor on the image. The tables are defined with the table tag. So we can also, in HTML, define the tables with the TR tags. That browser will display the table border 1, so it's going to be a thickness of the border lines. Then TR is the column, TD is the row 1 cell 1, TD row 1 cell 2. Then again the column is starts. So the second column starts. In the second column again the row 2 cell 1 cell 1. So the table start. So TD stands for table data and holds the content of data cell. So the TD tag can contain text, links, images. So this is just for example. I think I might have tricked myself with might be column or row, but yeah, if you practice it, it will be quite clear how to play around with these tags. An unordered list starts with UL tag. Each list item starts with LI tag. So, for example, the list with the dots, we can use UL. So that's unordered list because we don't want to be numbered. So Lee tag is the first item with the dot, and the milk is the second item with the dog and dot and so on. So similarly, OL is for ordered list, and still we use LI to define number 1, number 2. So the browser automatically picks that up and displays as number 1 and number 2. HTML forms are used to pass data to a server. So the form tag is used to create HTML form. For example, input form, input elements. So if you're trying to create a contact us page, that's how we should be creating it. The most important form element input is input element. So input is like we trying to define to the browser if it's a text field or it's a checkbox or it's a password or a radio button or a submit button and more. So that's the most important. So any form we're trying to create, obviously we need to have the input from the user. And the last few basics are iframe, which is a source URL. So if you like to display another web page within the web page we are coding for, so it will just display that URL for you within your code. So you're just telling to the browser, please display that website here. So the URL points to the location of separate page. So that's quite interesting one. Now it comes down to the colors. So we use the hexadecimal for red, green, blue, RGB. These colors, RGBs. So we uses these FFOOO to define a red color. So we use the attributes with the color hex. We tell HTML that this is a code and display this color. We don't tell like black. So in the color value, we write that hex code. And now I hope you understand